All right, what do we got here, boys? We are looking at the post-launch FAQ, Tenosian Invasion and Steam release. This is on the 15th of June, 2022. In order to keep all players in the loop, we prepared an updated FAQ with some of the most asked about topics we've been seeing from players since the launch of the Tenosian Invasion and Steam release. Okay. Can I party with players on other platforms? Can Steam players party with Epic players? This is the question I get the most often, men. Currently, the best way to get into a match with your friends across other platforms is by joining the same server using the server browser. The addition of cross-party or cross-platform parties is our main focus at the present time, and we will continue to work towards this addition as part of the next big update on our list, the reinforced update. This will include the ability to create parties between Steam and EGS players. Yeah, so this is like the thing that like I've had to explain over and over to people in my chat, and it's so like complicated to explain. It's like you can play with Xbox players in other players in Steam, but you can't because you can get in the same matchmaking games, but then they have to snipe your matchmaking queue, and then, you know, all this shit, man. It was so hard to explain to people. IT's always confusing because I've seen people think the game doesn't have crossplay. Yeah. Or it's always confusing. Yeah, dude, it's so ridiculous, man. That it's been this long that I've had to explain that. But I mean, it's just like, dude, that should have been the priority over some of these maps in the Tenosian update. But I mean, it's a different realm of development, and they have developers working on stuff. If you're a guy that creates maps, assets, other things like that, you're going to be working on that. It just seems like, to me, these problems that they probably wanted to take care of as soon as possible is probably harder than they thought, and they probably have less resources devoted to it. But like, this is like the main thing holding the game back. So I'm glad that this is first on the list, and they explained it pretty well. But I also think that right here, this right here is super misleading right here. And this is the confusing part that I wish that they didn't say first. Because you can't just say joining the same server using the server browser. This is truth and false, because like you can't just join a 64-man game via the server browser. Unless it's different on console or other things. Right now, using the server browser is going to find you, I think, FFA matches now. I haven't even checked out the server browser, to be honest, since the update. But like, I just think that this is a little misleading, right? Because people are like, you know, oh, I can join the same game. I just got to use the server browser. What server are you on? But then you can't find the certain games that are only found through matchmaking, unless they change that. But I don't believe they did. If anyone can correct me on that. What up, Stepo? How are you? When will I be able to transfer my progress from Epic Game Store to Steam if I want to transfer my progress? Okay. As a part of future update, you will be able to transfer your progress from your account on the Epic Games service, the Epic Game Store, to your account on Steam. Okay. Cool. Wait. Is this like 100% transfer? Excuse me. Is this like an 100% transfer? That's another. I mean, they worded this just fine. I don't think there's anything weird here. But like, I was just wondering to myself, does this mean it's a one-time transfer? Like, do I have to transfer everything to the Steam store and then that's it? Or is it like I can log into my Steam, play there, go log into my Epic Game Store and play there? I'm pretty sure it's going to be the latter. I hope. But transfer my progress seems like it should be like this wording here should be like connect to your accounts or something like that. I think that would be better, because transfer your progress to me could seem like, oh, we're going to transfer everything and then your Epic Game Store. I don't know. That's a stupid thought, but anyways, Why has free-for-all been moved to the main play menu to the server browser? Ultimately, there are only so many slots available on the play menu, and for this update, we chose to add the Tenosian Invasion playlist to the main menu. Unfortunately, this meant that another mode needed to find a new home. The FFA was moved to the server browser as a result. For now, we want to give the option to players who want to exclusively play the new maps and horses. We will continue to monitor the status of these FFA servers and the overall health of the game mode. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you don't want too many game modes on the front, or else you're going to give players paralysis from too much choice if they just want to hop into games. I think I don't mind this change. You know, I'm not a big FFA'er though, but people might not like it being in the server browser because they just like to just quickly hop into a game of FFA, but now they have to look at the servers and I don't know. I think this is okay because FFA kind of feels like a duel arena a little bit, in the sense that like players are just attacking and killing each other, but it's like a duel server without any rules. So it kind of makes sense that it belongs in along with the same category as like duels. And hopefully like other players will figure out, or like the newer players will figure out, that the FFA servers are different from duels and they won't kill each other without flourishing. But that's a long shot, and I've heard from people that a lot of people are entering duel servers and don't really know the etiquette, but that is to be expected. I wonder how the duel servers will feel with all these newbies. Yeah, I do need to experience the duel servers still, so maybe tomorrow we do some duels and stuff. We'll see. Why are the new Tenocium maps with horses set to 52 player and not 64 player? Okay. We know that the 64 player is highly desired, but currently we cannot support 64 player and horses at the same time across all platforms. Askendir and Bodwin will get 64 players but no horses as an option in the near future. What? Oh, this must be painful for them, to be honest. I mean, it's not like they wanted to do this, right? So I wouldn't get mad at Torn Banner for this. I guess you could get mad at them for doing that because they couldn't achieve their goal. But it looks like they just couldn't achieve their goal. And in my view, if I was the team lead here, I would have just reduced the number of horses in matches. And maybe built the system differently to accompany that many horses. I wouldn't have given up the 64 player, man. I think Mortal works with 64 players in limited horses. I think it works fine. It feels good still. I think they could have designed the experiences to not have so many horses. But maybe they figured that out a little too late. Who knows? But that's my opinion on the horses and 52-man. I really think that it would have been huge if they were able to put the 52-man Tenocian maps in this, it mixed in with the current 64 rotation, because it would have been absolutely beautiful to have certain maps where you rode the horse and then it's just part of the rotation, man. It would give a sense of scale to the game, because there's so many maps in this rotation as a new player, and it would just be like, holy shit, like, look at the scale of this game. But now players are like, okay, we're gonna play the classic maps, and the classic maps all feel better than the Tenosian. And I think that the Tenosian maps really are great, but they can only be played in small supplemental doses that I can take right now, because they do feel super beta. So we could go both ways here. We could say that the new maps should be left out of rotation because they're not really, they still feel beta, and having them in the 64-man would have detracted from the new player experience. Or we could say, hey, it would be nice to take a break and charge in and Wardenglade on some maps, you know, in between all this stuff, right? Would be interesting to see how those maps feel with 64-man and without horses. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it would be as good, to be honest. I really don't think it would be as good. I don't know. I don't think it... I have no idea, man. I think that the areas are way too open to not have its horses in some of the areas. I agree that they should have added the Tenosian maps to the usual 64-player rotation. Yeah, but that's the way of the world, and with development, especially in games, unexpected things happen. So you can't, you can't get mad at Torn Banner, but it is like a development error, right? And they're still figuring their shit out. So, like, I just think that this issue was huge. I think it was a huge miscalculation. But I mean, like, I'm still having fun with the new maps and stuff. I'm still having fun with shit. Like, this is, like, very nitpicky stuff, but also very big stuff, especially for the new players. For the old players, we're like, same shit, different story. But, like, for the new players, man, imagine just hopping to this game. Everything's perfect on a 64-man rotation of maps, and you just see horses in one of the maps, and you're just like, holy shit, man. Sure I can. Game has been out since ages, and they're out of touch. Maybe that is the case, but you know, I being a dev myself, I don't like to judge too often here. But I think this is a huge miscalculation. Map balance on the new team objective maps. We've seen since the Tenosian Invasion update was released that we need to make some tweaks to map balance on our 2 new TO maps to make things easier for attackers, okay? In particular, to allow teams to progress past the opening of the map. Okay. In our upcoming patch 2.5.1, we will be introducing the following balance changes. What this statement means is that players aren't getting past the first stage, which we did see tonight a lot. We did see that in our games. I mean, we were poning. I mean, we must have won like maybe 6 games tonight on the first point. So let's check this out. Your dev 2, what they are doing sometimes, not all the time generally, they are sort of okay. It feels like they're beta testing their features with the live game. Yeah, it kind of feels that way. Especially with the new maps, but I felt like I've never really felt that way until the new maps, man. And Gara Messi, what's up, dude? All right, let's look at these balance changes to the maps. The Raising of Askendir, Stage 1. Petards now explode 20% faster after being placed. Okay. Stage 5, fix an issue where the Mason torch pits would take longer to respawn torches than intended. Okay. The Breach of Bodwin, reduced catapult health. Okay. Reduced ballista health. Mason spawn 1 second slower from 10 seconds to 11. Okay. Tenocian spawn 1 second faster. Interesting. Stage 3, pulled Mason spawners a few meters back. Adjusted Tenocian spawners to be 2 columns of 6 instead of 3 columns of 4. Okay. I'm not sure really what this means. Finally, we'll be able to get past the beginning of Bodwin. I can't get my Steam exclusive helmets working. Okay. So my game crashes saying something about violation all the time. Is it the message that's saying overflow? I'm not sure what these YouTubers are saying at the moment. I need to be able to see that link. You want to see the link I'm looking at right now? Alright, let's continue. If you have your Steam account set to private, you may not be properly awarded the exclusive helmets when logging into the game. To work around this, you can join the Steam community, unprivate your profile, log into the game to receive the helmets, and then put your profile back to private afterwards. Okay. So there's a bug, it seems like, with the Steam people saying that things are private. If you're in private mode, you're not going to get the helmets. Okay. Known issues and bugs. This is not an extensive list, but some of the more popular issues we'll want to address to let players know we're working on them. Game crashes on startup, causing PC to crash. We are aware of the crash that is occurring with PC players that is causing some players to crash when opening the game. Our team is currently investigating the cause of this crash, and we will provide further information on this one as soon as we're able to. Okay. Workarounds for anti-cheat auth message. Some people are incorrectly receiving an EAC warning and being ejected from games. If you're running into this issue, here's a few possible solutions. Okay. You can also repair EAC by going... Okay, blah, blah, blah. We don't really need to read this. Okay, so they have a fix for maybe some easy anti-cheat. Big games. Maybe this is what you're experiencing. So maybe this will help you. I'm not sure exactly what your bug is, but... Okay, confirm EAC is not being blocked by antivirus. Okay. Here's some more troubleshooting. Why can't I move while on the horse? There are currently some issues with using an AZERTY keyboard on PC and trying to use the horses. We will be resolving this issue, but here's a workaround. Okay. Additional issues we are tracking. Steam party invites occasionally not working as intended. Achievements not being awarded, especially on PS5. Customization options functioning as intended. No, such as no helmets option. Yeah, this is definitely one that I'm experiencing. But just the game closes saying something about violation. Yeah, I think you're probably having an anti-cheat auth message then, or like an anti-cheat. Maybe this is your issue. I'm not sure, big games. Okay, what's next? We're currently working on a patch to fix a few of the issues that are present in the current game. This hotfix will be 2.5.1, hopefully dropping next week, with patch notes to come prior to that. We will share the patch notes with you once they have been finalized, but this patch will address such issues as crashes, map balance changes for the Breach of Baldwin, and the raising of Askendir, horse movement input keys not being able to be rebound, missing cosmetic options, and more. Further out, the development team is working on update 2.6, which is the reinforced update. This update will include cross-party platforms, including Steam and EGS parties. There are other things coming in this update as well, but we will be able to go into the details about that at a future date. Okay. Hopefully they'll fix the crash error I'm getting. Yeah, dude. So many issues. How surprising. Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking game, you know? It's a game, you know, and games are complex. And you have to build games bigger than how much money you have. And that is the real problem. And you have to balance that with how much can our audience live with the issues, right? That is the delicate balance of software development in the modern age. And, you know, we're putting it up with it still. And I am not a fan of all these bugs, but, you know, what can you do? I really think they made some big miscalculations. But for me, the overall experience with the new patch has been good. I enjoy it. I think that the maps feel beta, though. I think I originally said that my score out of 10 is a 7.5 for the new update. And I think I almost said, you know, 8.2. I was saying 8.2, but my first gut feeling was a 7.5, and I think it'll stay there. And the reason why it'll stay there is because I think that the new maps feel super beta compared to playing the older maps. That, and on top of a lot of technical issues, you know, it's hard to go above that. But if it was, I would have given this a 9.5 if they included all the maps into 64 player mode. The horses worked in 64 player mode. The horses could even be the same and still be in 64 player mode, and I would on the maps and on the Tenosian maps, but you know, it could have been like a fire Steam release, bro. You haven't experienced a single bug other than the error violation cheat thing. I love the update. Yeah, man, I think it's been great so far. Like, the experience of it, this may seem pretty bad, but the experience of it is good. My biggest thing is just having to play it on a different thing in the maps, just feeling a little empty sometimes. I expected better quality. Visually, they look awesome, but everything apart from that is due for an upgrade. Yeah, I think the gameplay isn't as good on some of the maps. I think my favorite new map is honestly the Charged Warrenglade, like I was saying earlier in this stream. I think the horses play really fucking well on that map, actually. And then I like Askendir is my second favorite map. That's new. I mean, Torn Bano is a small studio. There's a lot of shit we can say about the updates, but I think they're trying. I agree, Smoke. I think they're doing a brilliant fucking job, man. And like I said earlier, it's like you gotta have some respect. And they're trying their best. It's not like they obviously know and admitting to a lot of these things, right? And you know, in the future, as a development team, I think the best thing to do is to just like try to predict the future with some of these things, right? Like, I think that they could have predicted the future on how many horses that they could allow in a match and design around that. But to me, it kind of seems like they designed the experiences first and then asked about the optimization of the horses later. Because if that were the case, they would have decided on 52-man horses in the maps a long time ago, right? So I think there's just some miscalculations, and there's always going to be bugs, especially with trying to tie every single platform together in a single game is really fucking difficult, man. I mean, I'm doing the same sort of thing, but for web development, and it's like, you know, getting everything working on everywhere and designing for it is tough, man. If you have a small team, I really feel them. New maps need to be 64 player is my only issue, yeah, because I'm going to play both lobbies, yeah. As well, the Tenosian classes not having different armors, I think that's also a big one. I thought they were going to have more armors, but, you know, I'm not big into cosmetics, so it doesn't affect me a lot, but, you know, I think it's pretty cool to have a lot of cool different armors, right? Dumb as fuck to have new maps and horses in a different mode. And yeah, only one skin for new class. I mean, I don't think they meant to, right? Big games, like I was talking about earlier. But yeah, it just kind of sucks, right? We have to live with these optimization issues. I believe the new maps feel good, but the fact that you can only play new maps or old maps is dumb, yeah. The fact that they have a post-launch fact shows they care, yeah. They should do fewer horses and make it 64 player, yeah, yeah. I think they just had some design, they ran into, you know, design issues and thought processes, I think. Yeah, but yeah, and they're also doing what Smoke says there. They're gonna also release 64-man with the new maps but no horses, which I don't know. Maybe that'll play better, but who knows? The Archer skin and Van skin is exactly the skin. Yeah, the Vanguards. But the skin isn't the worst issue. We know they're gonna release more skins 100%, but after all, that I still love the game and appreciate their work. Yeah. For sure, man. It's definitely got some problems, you know? And along with releasing this thing on Steam on a different platform and having to deal with friends and, you know, everything that comes with launching this on a different platform, I mean, they're doing a lot, dude. And to be honest, they've been pushing updates pretty well. And I think that once they solve all these critical issues, it's going to really open up their development team to making higher quality content releases, because right now I think they're super pressured on getting this thing on every platform and getting it working, and also getting the old players to come back with new content, right? So this could have easily have been split into 2 different launches, right? But they really wanted the Steam release to have probably as much content as they could in order to make the game feel much larger than it is, right? And I think they accomplished that, man. And just seeing the Steam numbers, I think they're doing it, dude. I think they're doing it. There's definitely some issues, but they're honest. They know what the issues are. Obviously, our opinions could differ in between theirs, but we don't know their development cycles, so we have to be very vigilant and patient to not get angry. I always refrain from anger about these things in video games. But, like, you know, you got to expect a certain quality of product these days, man. And I feel like the whole gaming industry right now is expecting a certain quality at a certain pace. So that's hard for developers to deliver sometimes. But you know, and it's easy to blame multi-million-dollar companies like Blizzard because they've been doing this for the past 20-30 years. But for Torn Banner being a young studio, I think we can give them a bit of a pass. But you know, that doesn't mean we can't get on their ass a little bit about releasing some quality ass content, right? Your friend just got this game on PlayStation. Sick.